Hello everyone, I'm in a strange environment. This is the web, and I'm here today to introduce you to a game that has caught my eye. I know that I'm all about Star Citizen, but I'm really about those open world, open-ended games that you can do anything that you want, be anything that you want, and this one promises to be one of those games. Now Star Citizen is set far in the future, and Naval Action, A Beautiful Age of Sail, is set in the past. And it's set around the time of the tall ships, anything from 4-gun sloops or brigs all the way up to the ships of the line. And this is a company out of the Ukraine that's promising to bring us one of the best open world naval action games, which this is called Naval Action, that I've seen to date. Their website is just incredible and just grabs you and explains everything about the game. Now this is a game I've been watching on YouTube for the last few weeks. It's a game I've watched Baron Von Games, Fly Daily, Side Strafe, and the Mighty Jingles and others play. And I've been sitting there dying to get my hands on this game, but the problem has been that for some reason PayPal had stopped all of the purchases because they were kind of investigating why there were so many at the time. Now this is an alpha, and the part of the game could be explained that's available could be explained for those of you that listen to my Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous videos as being something akin to the Arena Commander. It's PvP action in a set amount of space, but that's not what this game is going to be. So let's take a look at the website, and then I'm going to bring you into some gameplay. Okay? So combat and sailing. So it talks about gunnery and how the realism of the gunnery is going to be incredibly high. Each one of the different cannons and cannon types of the time period are going to be modeled, and you're going to have to know how to fire them. All the ships that were around back then are going to be modeled little by little over time. Currently they have somewhere between 8 and 12 ships available. You start off with what's called a yacht that has essentially 6 guns on each side, so it's a 12-gun ship. But you can move all the way up to one of the ships of the line. But the physics behind this are modeled exactly. When a cannon hits the deck, it's going to splinter the wood. The wood is going to fly in a direction that may hit a crew member and take them out. Or the cannonball could ricochet around the deck, taking out other crewmen and possibly knock over a cannon. So all of that is going to be modeled. Now those big giant explosions in the Errol Flynn era pirate movies in the US are not really going to be modeled 100%. In realistic, well, back then it was unrealistic for a magazine to be blown to bits by a cannonball, though it did happen on a very rare occasion. So in the game that will happen on a rare occasion. So with the depth of this game, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get a hang of, and you're going to have to play with friends to actually be the best that you can be. Now they talk about the open world, and that's something that's still definitely 100% in development. Right now they don't show that off, but you're going to be able to raise your own navies and create your own trade routes and sail the seas the way that you want, explore the open world nature of this game. The ships themselves are they're being modeled everywhere from these 6 to 12 gun ships all the way up to the 140 gun Santísima Trinidad. I think that was a Spanish ship back in the Spanish Armada. So far I've had probably about 5 or 6 games, and I'm going to show you one of them. I haven't gotten out of the yacht, but each one of these is fully modeled in the game as of right now. And of course, look at this, the 74. These are all just amazing ships. So let's go to the blog real quick. And the blog talks about where they want to go for this particular point in the year. So they want to have new ships. They want to have ship customization. They're going to test out the open world nature of it and decide how big the world needs to be, because they want to make the travel times realistic, but not so much so boring that you don't want to play the game. They want to have in-game chat, both voice and text. And of course they want to bring the manual. And over here they talk about their last ship that they introduced, which I can't pronounce that. Trincomalee? So the HMS Trincomalee. And they talk about how this is a frigate that was based on a captured French design. This game is really, really, really cool. And to purchase the game, you click here, and essentially it's $39.99. Oop, they're sold out. That is amazing. So for those of you wanting to get in, you're probably going to have to wait for the early access to open up on Steam. Right now they're sold out yet again. And when you do get into early access, you'll get a digital copy of the game, one premium yacht, and access to the alpha version of the game. This is going to be a game like Star Citizen, where you can earn the ships in game, or you can buy them inside of their store. And I'm not sure how that's going to work. But right now, they do not have any more Steam keys. That will happen in the future. Just give them a week. It says by the 30th of January. So let's get into the game and show off what this is all about. So we're in the game, and look how beautiful it is. It is just a gorgeous game. Look at the reflections on the water. Look at the foam that comes up. And you should see this thing when there's actual storms going on. Now, the game itself is built upon the Unity engine, and Unity is cross-platform. It's the same engine that's used in games such as Kerbal Space Program, so you could see how much they could do with it. And with all the upgrades promised to Unity over the next year, like going to 5.0, which gives it full 64-bit support, you can see this engine being amazingly just awesome, just used for so many different things. So the ship I'm on right now is called a yacht. It's got 6 guns on each side. It's a typical sailboat that you would see today, with a couple of forward-facing sails at the top. Control is easy. It's WSAD. W makes you go faster, S makes you go slower, and it does it by increasing the sails and decreasing the sails. Every ship has different characteristics, and even ships of the same class will have different characteristics, as they model a slight difference into each one, and a good captain will find them to be, will find them out and use them to their advantages. This is a very fast ship. It pretty much needs to drive, to sail 45 degrees with the wind or against the wind in order to be going at its fullest speed. You can turn on and off manual auto captain by clicking the F key. The A and D keys will turn your rudder to turn you about either to port or to starboard. So those are the keys so far. The left or right shift keys will bring up the telescope, or I guess you would call it, I call it a telescope. And that will let you see a great deal of distance. And then the right mouse button will bring up the cannon, will bring up your fire mode for your cannons. You can fire the cannons individually, or you can fire a salvo all at once. The better captains are firing them one at a time. This is only my 3rd game, and although I've never played one of these types of games before, it was actually quite easy to get used to, though the tactics are going to be a little bit harder to get used to. So the nature of this game is just squad versus squad, or team versus team, and it's a fight to the last man or woman standing in this case. So we've got I think it's 3 or 4 yachts, and one of a larger size, which is called a Snow, and they have 2 Lynxes and 2 larger ships. So our Snow, which is going to be not this guy that I'm trying to go with, I checked out his record, or tried to at least. It's very difficult to figure it out. You'll see a couple of things. He seems to be telling people what to do. And he seemed to have played a couple of times more than me, like about 50. And the two ships off in the distance just ahead of him are actually on our team also. In such a small engagement, they should have waited for us and we should have teamed up to go in. But these two guys go in and take on those 4 ships together, and you'll see what happens. So one of the things that you need to be aware of is you need to be aware of where you are and where your teammates are. When you're in bigger battles, and one of the first battles I was in was a 40-man or 40-person battle. There were 20 people on each side. And there were quite a number of ship-to-ship, I guess you would call them rammings or crashes. And when you do ram another ship, it does a massive amount of damage if you're going really fast, and can do a considerable amount of damage even at slow speeds. It could take down sails, put holes in you or the other ship. It could knock out crewmen and take out weapons, and that's really not something you want to do. So not only are you trying to figure out where the wind is, so you're always going in to the wind, you're always sailing in the right direction, you're always sailing with the most efficiency, but you also have to know how to fire the cannons. I'm sorry, I have the hiccups, and that's not cool. And firing the cannons is not just pointing at a ship and firing, though there are quite a number of people that do that. And you'll see one of the guys that chases me later on actually partakes in such, well, horrible gunnery skills that he just keeps firing at me in that manner. In the end, I succumb to the largest ship, because after our large ship dies to this guy, here we are using the looking glass, or whatever you want to call it. After our largest ship succumbs or sinks, it's essentially me and this other, I guess he's in the same ship as me, myself and Snoped, I think that's what he calls himself, in the 2 yachts, which are the smallest ships in the game, against 3 of them. And, well, it might be, yeah, it's against 3 of them. So this becomes rather a fruitless battle, but we do battle to the last ship, and that is a pretty good outcome, if you do ask me. Between myself and the other yacht, we take down 3 of them, while they take down 4 of us. The 2 guys that ran in here real quick, yeah, they didn't do anything but get blown out of the water or sunk. Now, you do see the damage effects happening in real time. It's not just, oh, I am sinking and I don't see anything on the outside. You will see your hull penetrated. You'll see splinters and bits of wood flying around. You'll see masts coming down, whether it be a full mast or not. You'll see sails taking damage by, I guess they call it chain shot, and that's another one of the things that you can do. So I haven't told you all the controls right now. If you look along the bottom, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4, or for loading the different cannons. And those cannons are going to be the the port and starboard cannons, and the bow and stern carronades. Now, my ship is so small, it just has port and starboard cannons. Now, when you click on those numbers, you'll have a choice of ball, double shot, grape shot, and chain. Ball, long distance. Double shot, which is 2 balls, I guess, would be for real close in, and it's going to do the most damage that you could possibly do with a shot on the other ship. Chain is for taking down the other ship's sails, and grape shot is for clearing the deck and killing everybody on the deck. And you'll see, I start off with 40 crew and I wind up with 7. One of the guys was actually firing grape shot at me to try to take out my cannons. So we've got already something bad going on here. You can see I'm getting no hits. Well, I got 2 hits on that guy. But we already have 2 of our ships going down. And myself and Snope should have taken the opportunity, because at this point, Medieval, he was actually really beaten up inside of that engagement. So we should have taken him on and taken him out pretty good. You could see him sitting low in the water, and he was hurting pretty bad. There we go. So, believe it or not, one of those ships over there was actually sunk by Snope. He was long-range sniping it. So he gets one of them and another one, and I take down the last of the Lynx. The other two ships on the other side are called Lynx. They are 8-gun ships, four in each side, 4 port, 4 starboard. They're very fast, and their guns, I believe, are 4-pounders, where I have 6-pounders. So I'm actually in I guess, a better ship. Not 100% sure about that. So we're taking on 3 on 2, and they've got pretty much a ship with a lot more cannons than we have. And I believe those cannons are either 9-pounders or 12-pounders. I put a couple of shots into him, but most of those 6 just landed all around him. So what I'm trying to do at this point is trying to get back to Snow. I ask him, what are you going to do? He doesn't answer me. He just goes in, he takes out one of these other guys, and winds up getting sunk himself by the big dude. What I do for the rest of this match is I just keep on sailing around in circles. I keep on sailing until I am, well, let's say I keep sailing until I finally get a couple of shots on one of the other guys and wind up having him in a cat and mouse game, and we wind up pretty much, well, I sink him, he really damages me, I repair, which is what the 5 key is, and then I put my people into survival mode and pump out the water. So essentially I survive the battle with this one ship. So I think what we should do is we should cut here, and we should move forward a little bit to where there's some action where you guys aren't getting bored. These battles could last the better part of an hour at times. And like I said, this was only my 3rd one. So let's cut here and move forward to where there's some more action. So I've moved ahead a little bit, and this is going to be where there's the first bit of action. And I believe this is where I start. Yep, you can see a couple of those shots really hit him. A couple went right in. I believe I'm firing double shot right now, so those did a massive amount of damage against him. But you got to aim a little bit higher at him. And here I am firing at the big guy, and I didn't fire high enough to hit him. So Snoped is getting destroyed by this other ship over here, but he's also taking him out too. I believe this is the one guy that I have the long duel with, which is, I'm not going to say his name on the air, as this is a family show at times. And we are just going to keep on trying to do circles around this guy. Like I said, he probably should have been able to kill me real easy, as I'm still learning the game. As you can see here, all my shots go over him. So this cat and mouse game continues for a long time. And Snoped over here is taking his long range shots, and I don't even know who he was firing at that point. But the two of us should have been firing on this guy over here. You can see how much bigger he is than the rest of us. The number of cannons, the size of those cannons are able to take us out real quickly. And I think you're going to see a couple of more shots. There it goes, right on my stern. That is just not a good thing. But it did not crack my hull and cause me to start taking on water, so that was a good thing. And here I am thinking I could take him on, so I'm going to launch a couple of short-range shots because that side was running double ball, and I'm starting to list because I'm turning. Did not work. So this is one of those maneuvers I'm doing where I'm cutting through their, I guess you could call it their formation. And this is a good shot right here. Look at this. It just took out part of his sails. Actually did absolutely nothing. Every one of those shots went right over him. That's how much I have to learn. And here he is, just taking pieces of my ship. Now he's fractured my hull, and I start taking on water. So there's only one thing I can do, and that's to repair, which I use the 5 key to do that. Ooh, that was a good shot on him. I am a faster ship than him, as you'll see later on. But all I can do at this point is just repair and escape. So I need to put my crew into survival mode, which I don't do, which is stupid. And I should have hit the 5 key and started to repair a lot quicker than this. A heavier ship is going to move slower. So at some point in the near future, I figure that out. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to go and I'm going to repair the armor. So they're now going and they're repairing the armor. And then I need to hit 4 for them to start pumping, but they need to finish. See how quickly this ship started filling up? Look at how it's modeled almost immediately. Look at how my ship is riding very, very low in the ocean. Very low. And almost gone. This could have been a much worse match than it already was. So I put my crew into survivor mode and I repair my armor and I get everything pumped out. For the next few minutes, all I'm going to do is be running. It looks like the Snoped is having problems over there. He's lost a mast. And, well, it looks like he lost a mast. He probably just pulled his sails down. So we need to get water out of this ship at this point. And that's going to be a long time coming. So Snoped is going to take one more of these ships out. He's going to go under. And I don't ever get to see that. There is no replay in the game at this point, which I hope they add at some point for these matches. And of course, you can see my cannonballs landing over there about 6,000 yards past this ship, which was rather stupid. And see if we can turn in on this guy a little bit. I think I'm going to try to cut inside of him at this point. But I decide to go on the outside of him. Because if he could come about and fire on this guy, I could fire on him too. So I should get a nice opportunity for a broadside with double shot right here, which will definitely put a damper on this guy. And those are awesome shots all through the stern. Hopefully he starts taking on water, and I think that's what lets Snoped take him down. So let's see what happens. You can still see the smoke from my cannons just sitting out there. One of the good things about being on the open sea. So we're going to come about yet again. We still have that double ball, that double shot. And coming about, these ships do not turn as quickly as you would believe. Definitely not as quick as they show in Pirates of the Caribbean. These are modeled as correctly as they can. I don't know if they have fluid dynamics built into the engine, but this is actually doing some pretty good maneuvers here. We come about, and we're so far away we are not going to be able to hit this guy. Definitely not with double shot. Just not going to land far enough. Now, Medieval is taking him on. The other guy, I believe, is already sunk by Snoped. These two are going to take him out. I mean, this is the end of it for him. And I think one more broadside by Medieval and he's done. Snoped has probably used all of his repairs. You only get 3 at this level in the game. If they gave you more, these things would last forever, and already lasting for an hour, it's kind of crazy. So the other dude has already sunk. We've got good wind, and we've been able to repair. You can see we're now back to riding high in the water. Come on, you can get him. That should be enough right there. Ooh, we took out... That was not a good... The big guy is trying to hit us. Snope just went under. You can see him going under. And now begins my battle with him. I don't want to say his name. And you'll see I am not hitting anywhere near where I need to with this guy. So at this point, both of us are so much faster than that other ship. It just becomes a constant, I guess you would call this a yo-yo if it was an aircraft. We just keep on crossing each other's bow, and I keep on just firing off on him. And little by little, it probably gets to a point where, see that? It just whittles him down, because I don't think he was as good at gunnery as I was. Now, I'm not saying I'm good. I'm definitely not good. I'm good at close range. He's firing grape shot. Did you see that? He's trying to take down my crew. You could see all the little peppers going off all over the place. So he is actually probably better than I thought. But we just keep on doing this. Just keep on crossing his bow. Staying fast, staying ahead of him. And just keep on just raking his bow with as many of these crossing his bow passes as we can have. And here we go again. See if we get him. Ooh, we only got a couple of shots. Most of those sailed right over him. Now, a good tactic here might have been to fire on one side, fire grape shot, or I would have said chains. So you're taking down his sail so you can keep up the distance from him and keep him firing incorrectly. But what I didn't realize, if you're looking, I've taken out a number of his crew. He started with 40 also. But I've also taken out a number of his cannons. Those did not go where they wanted to. You'll see I start losing the wind at this point. See how I'm just going directly into the wind? This type of ship cannot just go straight into the wind. It works most efficiently at a 37.5 to 45 degree angle. Alright, I'm taking on water again. He was very good at one of his shots. I need to go back into survival mode. But we're going to try to hit his bow a couple times here. We did. And I think this starts to be... You see him? Look at how low he's riding. So we've definitely fractured his hull. He's definitely taken on water, as are we. We have one last repair left, and we got to use that for our armor. And we will sink if we don't do that. But we need to get him. And I am just not good with that port side weapon battery. I seem to be much better with the starboard side. And I think it's distance, and it has something to do with the wind. Alright, so we repaired the hull. And now we're pumping. We should have been in survival mode, but we really need to get this guy done. Now we're going to start pumping, and we are going to pepper him with a couple more shots here. There we go. That should be the end of it for him. We had that one last repair. I think he did not. And what you're not seeing behind me is his sails going down. And I think he's just going to sit there and die. Ooh, maybe not. I thought he was. Maybe he needs one last shot. Maybe that was it. Maybe this is the last chance I have to actually try to get a round off with my port side. Let's go and get him. We got to fire a little bit higher. We got to come about, and let it rip. And I think I missed every one of those shots. Nope, he's done. See how he's done. He is gone. So that was my first real big battle where I actually knew what I was doing. The first two I was learning the keyboard commands. In fact, the first one I drove around or sailed around in my ship not knowing how to fire and was texting people, and no one said RTFM. I finally got somebody that said right mouse button, hit F1 to enable it. I don't know why I had to hit F1. I've never had to do that since. But actually, after after a couple of engagements, this was my third one, like I said, you tend to get used to it. Let me show you my demise in this one battle. First off, look at the timer on the top. A lot of time has gone by, and he has just peppered me, destroyed me. I am sinking really fast. There was no way I was going to be able to outrun this guy because you have this white line which you see in front of you, which I'm on the wrong side of right now. And eventually you have to turn around. And the minute you turn around, this guy is going to have guns on you. So I decided, all right, I don't need this game to go for a full hour. Let me just give this guy an easy kill. And I did. And here I go. See ya. So the game is incredibly fun, even though it can be a long time coming. It promises a lot of features to come in the future, kind of like Star Citizen does. I can't wait to see it. So that was it. You can see I got 1 kill, 1,432 damage. I was the top damage dealer on my team. But of course the guy in the snow, the medieval guy who had the really big ship, had a lot more damage than me. And I guess that's all I have for this video. If you like it, please select the thumbs up button below. And with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.